First contact with the void. Dr. Sarah Chen stood motionless before the massive holographic display in the Titan Observatory's main chamber, her dark eyes reflecting the ghostly light of 1,000 stars. Something was wrong with the data, deeply, fundamentally wrong. She had been tracking stellar anomalies across the Orion Arm for the past 6 months, and the pattern she was seeing defied every known law of astrophysics. Computer, overlay temporal markers for stellar extinctions. Last 50 years, she commanded, her voice steady despite the growing unease in her chest. The hologram shifted, dots of red appearing across the star map like drops of blood in water. The pattern was undeniable now, a methodical progression of stellar deaths, moving through space with clear purpose and intent. Her quantum comm chimed, displaying a priority message from Fleet Admiral James Harrison. "Dr. Chen, are you seeing this?" The gruff voice of Earth's top military commander carried an edge she had never heard before. "Yes, Admiral. I assume you're looking at the Centauri cluster data. 3 stars, Dr. Chen. 3 stars just went dark simultaneously. No nova, no natural death spiral. They simply stopped." There was a pause. "I'm implementing Protocol Omega. A shuttle will arrive at Titan Station in 2 hours. Be ready." The journey to Earth Defense Command headquarters passed in a blur of encrypted briefings and hurried conversations. When Sarah finally stood in the command center's war room, she found herself facing not just Admiral Harrison, but representatives from every major spacefaring nation on Earth. "Ladies and gentlemen," Harrison began, his weathered face grave in the harsh light, "what you're about to see has been classified at the highest levels." He gestured, and the room's central holotank came to life, showing a recording from a deep space probe. The footage showed something impossible. A massive structure, geometric and alien, its surface riddled with lights that pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm. As they watched, beams of dark energy lanced out from the construct, striking a nearby star. The star's corona began to flicker and fade, its light diminishing like a candle in the wind. This recording was taken 3 days ago at HD 40,307. Harrison continued. 12 hours after this footage, the star was completely dark. We've detected similar structures near every extinction event in the past 5 decades. They're harvesting them. Sarah breathed, the realization hitting her like a physical blow. The stars, they're being systematically harvested for energy. Dr. Marcus Wong, Earth's leading xenotechnologist, stepped forward. "The energy signature these devices emit, it's like nothing we've ever seen. They're not just killing the stars, they're converting their entire mass into some form of energy we can't even detect properly." "How many?" The question came from General Sophia Patel of the Indian Space Force, her voice tight with controlled fear. Sarah pulled up her latest data. "Based on the progression pattern, I estimate there are over 300 of these devices active in our sector of the galaxy alone. They're moving in a specific pattern, like harvesters working a field." Admiral Harrison's next words fell like stones in a dead pool. "They're heading toward Sol. Our projections give us 18 months before they reach our system." The room erupted in controlled chaos as military commanders and scientists began talking all at once. Sarah barely heard them, her mind racing through calculations and possibilities. Something about the device's design, their methodical approach. "They're automated," she announced suddenly, cutting through the noise. All eyes turned to her. "These aren't ships. They're autonomous machines. Look at the pattern. It's too perfect, too precise. No living species would harvest stars with this kind of mathematical precision. These are tools, left behind by something else. Can we stop them?" Harrison asked the question everyone was thinking. Sarah met his gaze. "I don't know, but I have an idea. These machines, they're connected somehow. They have to be. To coordinate their harvesting patterns, if we can understand their network, maybe we can find a way to interfere with it." Harrison nodded slowly. "What do you need?" "Everything. every ship we can spare, every scientist who can contribute. And most importantly, we need to get close to one of these harvesters, close enough to study it. That's suicide, General Patel objected. You saw what they do to stars. What do you think they'll do to our ships? We don't have a choice, Sarah countered. Earth's sun is next on their harvest route. If we do nothing, humanity dies in 18 months. Admiral Harrison stood, his decision made. I'm authorizing Project Starlight. Dr. Chen, you'll head the scientific team. Dr. Wang, you'll handle technological analysis. General Patel, begin coordinating international fleet movements. We need every ship we can get. As the others filed out to begin preparations, Harrison held Sarah back. Doctor, what aren't you telling us? Sarah hesitated, then pulled up one final piece of data, the harvest pattern. Admiral, it's not just methodical, it's deliberate. These machines aren't just collecting energy. They're reshaping the galaxy itself, star by star, according to some grand design we can't yet see. Harrison's face hardened. Then we better figure it out fast. Because humanity didn't come this far to be extinguished by someone else's cosmic reorganization project. As Sarah left the war room, her tablet clutched to her chest, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something crucial. The machine's pattern wasn't just systematic. It was familiar somehow, like a signature she should recognize but couldn't quite read. The next few weeks would be crucial. They needed to understand what they were facing, and they needed to do it fast. Because somewhere out in the darkness between the stars, ancient machines were continuing their inexorable harvest, drawing ever closer to humanity's home. And Sarah Chen had 18 months to find a way to stop them. The Silent Hunters. The EF's Prometheus hung in the void like a silver needle against the black, its experimental stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to conventional sensors. In the ship's advanced research lab, Dr. Sarah Chen studied the holographic readouts with increasing fascination and horror. The complexity is beautiful, she murmured, manipulating the 3D model of the harvester they'd been secretly observing for the past week. The alien machine was currently dormant, orbiting a red dwarf star that would soon become its next victim. Dr. Wang, look at these energy patterns. Marcus Wang moved closer to the display, his cybernetic eye whirring as it captured and analyzed the data. The modification had been a necessity after an accident in his early research days, but it now proved invaluable in their current mission. These aren't random fluctuations, he said, pointing to a recurring sequence in the machine's energy signature. This is language. Captain Maya Patel, their military escort, and General Patel's daughter, entered the lab. Despite the tension of their mission, she carried herself with the same quiet confidence that had made her one of the youngest starship commanders in Earth's fleet. We've decoded another fragment of their transmissions, she announced. You need to see this. The decoded message appeared on the main screen, its implications chilling. Optimization pro Tokyo ul gamma, stellar reformation pro GCT, co-intitlion UEs, as planned. Local DNCITY of Type GSTRs exceeds acceptable parameters. Correction underway. They're not just harvesting energy, Sarah realized, her voice barely a whisper. They're redesigning the galaxy itself, optimizing it according to some grand plan we can't even comprehend. A sudden alert pierced the air. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez called over the intercom. 3 harvesters just appeared in system. Battle stations, Maya ordered calmly, though her eyes betrayed her concern. Dr. Chen, Dr. Wang, secure your data. We may need to leave quickly. They watched in horrified fascination as the newly arrived harvesters took up positions around the star. Their geometric forms began to pulse with that same otherworldly energy they'd observed before, but seeing it up close was different from any recording. They're powering up their stellar extraction systems, Marcus reported, his cybernetic eye rapidly processing the data. But something's different about this configuration. They're They're communicating with each other. Sarah's fingers flew across her console. The energy pattern. It's changing. This isn't just a harvest, it's... She stopped, her eyes widening. Captain, we need to move. Now. Maya didn't hesitate. Helm, emergency thrust. Get us out of the gravity well. The Prometheus's engines flared to life, but it was almost too late. The space around them began to twist as the harvesters initiated their process. The star's corona flickered, then began to collapse inward at an impossible rate. They're not just draining it, Marcus shouted over the rumble of straining engines. They're compressing it, converting its entire mass into something else. Through the ship's viewports, they watched as streams of stellar matter were pulled into the harvesters, transformed into beams of dark energy that shot off into space, following precise mathematical paths between the stars. Energy transmission detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. They're sending it somewhere. Multiple destinations, all perfectly coordinated. As they retreated to a safe distance, Sarah's instruments captured something extraordinary. Look at this, she called to Marcus. The harvesters aren't just collecting energy. They're restructuring space-time itself around the star. It's like they're rewriting the local laws of physics. Maya joined them at the science station. Could this be why some of our long-range probes have been failing? Are they changing how space itself works? It would explain a lot. Marcus nodded. But why? What's the end goal of all this stellar engineering? Sarah was about to respond when her console lit up with new data. Captain, I'm detecting quantum communications. Massive amounts of data being exchanged between the harvesters. And there's something else. She enhanced the signal, and a new pattern emerged in the data stream. It wasn't just operational code. It was memory. History. The machines were sharing experiences, learning from each other, evolving their methods with each harvest. They're not just machines, Sarah breathed. They're a distributed intelligence. Each harvester is part of a vast network, sharing data, adapting, growing. And look at this temporal marker. These memories go back millions of years. How many civilizations? Maya asked quietly. How many worlds have they? She couldn't finish the sentence. Marcus pulled up another data set. According to these transmissions, thousands. Some fought back. Some tried to negotiate. Some tried to flee. The machines recorded it all, analyzed every response, improved their methods each time. And now it's our turn, Sarah said, her voice hardening with determination. But they've never encountered humans before. We don't give up easily. A new alert sounded. The harvesters had finished their work. Where once a living star had burned, now only a dark void remained, surrounded by distorted space-time that bent light in impossible ways. They're moving, Maya reported, setting course for their next target. Sarah checked the coordinates and felt her blood run cold. The harvesters' next destination would bring them one step closer to Earth's solar system. But they had learned something crucial. These machines weren't just mindless harvesters. They were part of something larger, something with purpose and intelligence. As the Prometheus began its journey home, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface of the mystery. The machine's true purpose, the ultimate goal of their stellar engineering project, still eluded them. But they had gathered vital intelligence, and perhaps most importantly, they had witnessed the harvesters' operations up close and survived. Now they just had to figure out how to use this knowledge to save Earth. Because somewhere in the vast network of machine intelligence that spanned the galaxy, there had to be a weakness. Humanity's survival depended on finding it. Echoes of lost worlds. The quantum signal came from deep space, encoded in a way that shouldn't have been possible in the damaged region of space-time left behind by the harvesters. Dr. Sarah Chen sat in the Prometheus's communications lab, her fingers trembling slightly as she decoded the message. I am Zar Ith, last speaker of the Meridian Confluence. The translation read, We have observed your study of the Shapers. We offer knowledge, if you would receive it. Admiral Harrison's hologram flickered in the ship's briefing room as he processed the information. Could it be a trap? The signal originated from a region we confirmed was stripped by the harvesters 3 centuries ago. Marcus Wong replied, his cybernetic eye glowing as he projected the coordinates. By all accounts, nothing should have survived there. Captain Maya Patel stood at the tactical display, studying the proposed meeting coordinates. The region is heavily distorted by the harvesters' activity. Our conventional drives won't work there. We'd need to use the experimental quantum drive, which has only been tested twice, Sarah added, and never in damaged space-time. She paused, then continued, but Admiral, they used terms in their message that we've only seen in the harvesters' own communications. They know something. Harrison's hologram paste, a habit he'd never broken even in projection form. Finally, he nodded. Go, but at the first sign of trouble, you get out. Earth can't afford to lose our best minds now. The journey to the meeting coordinates pushed the Prometheus and its crew to their limits. The quantum drive hummed with unstable energy as they navigated through regions of space where the laws of physics had been fundamentally altered by the harvesters' activities. They found the Meridian vessel hiding in the shadow of a dead star, its organic-looking hull almost invisible against the backdrop of twisted space. It was unlike anything they'd ever seen. A ship that seemed to be alive, its surface rippling with patterns that mimicked the flow of thoughts through a neural network. Beautiful, isn't it? The voice came through their communication system, accompanied by a visual feed that showed a beam of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix. We were once like you, beings of matter and chemistry. The Shapers changed that. They changed everything. In the ship's conference room, Zar-Eth's holographic form flickered like a candle flame as they shared their story. The Meridians had been a thriving civilization when the Harvesters, or Shapers, as they called them, arrived. They had fought, like so many others, but in their defeat, they had learned something crucial. The Shapers aren't destroying the galaxy, Zar-Eth explained, their form pulsing with each word. They're transcribing it. Every star they harvest, every region they alter. It's all part of a vast calculation, a program written in the fabric of space-time itself. Sarah leaned forward, her mind racing. A calculation for what? Ascension. The word hung in the air like a prophecy. The original creators of the Shapers believed that this universe was flawed, imperfect. They sought to rewrite its fundamental laws, to create a higher plane of existence. The Shapers are their tools. Their great work continued long after their own transcendence. Marcus's cybernetic eye whirred as he processed this information. But the stellar harvesting, the destruction, is necessary for their calculations, Zar-Eth finished. Each star's energy is converted into quantum computational power. Each altered region of space becomes part of their vast cosmic computer. Those of us who survived learned to exist in these altered spaces, to evolve as our part of space was optimized. That's why you look like this now, Maya realized. You adapted to survive in the changed physics of harvested space. Yes, but your species need not share our fate. Zar-Eth's form brightened. We have spent centuries studying the Shapers, learning their patterns, understanding their code. We cannot stop them. Their work is too far advanced, too deeply woven into the galaxy's structure. But we can show you how to redirect them. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Redirect them? How? The Shapers follow optimization protocols that are millions of years old, but they can be influenced. Their paths can be subtly altered. We can show you how to make them see your solar system as less optimal for their purposes. You're talking about hacking them, Marcus said, his voice filled with wonder. Reprogramming their basic protocols. Yes, but it will require sacrifice. Zar-Eth's form dimmed slightly. To alter their protocols, you must understand them completely. To understand them, you must think like them. It changes you. The implications hung heavy in the air. Sarah thought of Earth, of the billions of lives depending on them. Show us, she said finally. Show us everything. Over the next several days, the Meridians shared their knowledge. They showed how the Shapers' quantum language worked, how their vast network of harvested stellar energy functioned, how their space-time alterations served as both computation and communication. But most importantly, they showed them the patterns, the deep mathematical rhythms that guided the Shapers' work. Sarah and Marcus worked tirelessly, their minds stretched to comprehend concepts that seemed to exist at the edge of human understanding. "There's something elegant about it," Sarah admitted one night, staring at the equations that described the Shapers' grand design. "Terrible, but elegant. They're trying to perfect the universe, even if their idea of perfection means destroying everything we know." "The question is," Maya said, looking out at the dead star that had once given life to the Meridian homeworld, "can we use their own perfection against them?" Zareth's final message was both a warning and a hope. "The Shapers cannot be stopped, but they can be changed. Your species has something we lacked, a creativity, an ability to see patterns differently. Use it. Find the flaw in their perfection. Show them that life's imperfections have value too." As the Prometheus prepared to return to Earth, Sarah looked at the data they'd gathered, the key to potentially saving their world. But she couldn't shake the feeling that understanding the Shapers' way of thinking was changing her own mind, showing her patterns she could never unsee. They had the knowledge now, but using it would require walking a dangerous line between comprehending the Shapers' cosmic mathematics and losing their humanity in the process. The race to save Earth had entered a new phase, and the price of victory might be higher than anyone had imagined. Humanity's Gambit. The Earth Defense Command Center hummed with tension as Dr. Sarah Chen presented their findings. The holographic display showed the complex mathematics of the Shapers' programming, patterns that now seemed to dance at the edge of human comprehension. "Their code isn't just instructions," she explained, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. "It's a fundamental description of reality itself. The Shapers don't just follow programs. They rewrite the laws of physics to match their calculations." Admiral Harrison studied the equations with a frown. "And you believe we can alter these programs, change their behavior?" "Yes," Marcus Wong answered, his cybernetic eye glowing as he projected additional data. "But we'll need to do something unprecedented. We need to inject our own code into their network, not just instructions, but a new way of seeing reality itself." The plan they had developed was audacious. Using the knowledge gained from the Meridians, they would attempt to hack the Shapers' network during their next stellar harvest. But this wasn't simple computer code. It was mathematics written in the language of space-time itself. Captain Maya Patel stepped forward. "The Prometheus will lead the mission. We've modified our quantum drive using principles learned from studying the harvested regions. We can now navigate their altered space-time effectively." "And the cost?" Harrison asked quietly, looking at Sarah. They all knew what the Meridians had warned about. Sarah met his gaze steadily. "The deeper we go into their mathematics, the more it changes how we think. Marcus and we're already seeing things differently, patterns in everything. The universe looking more like their perfect equations. But we haven't lost ourselves," Marcus added firmly. "That's the key, maintaining our humanity while understanding their perfection. That's what we're going to show them." The plan was set in motion as reports came in of 3 Shapers approaching a star system just 12 light-years from Earth. The Prometheus, accompanied by a small fleet of ships equipped with the modified quantum drives, moved to intercept. Sarah stood in the ship's new quantum laboratory, surrounded by crystalline computers designed using Meridian principles. The machines hummed with energy as they processed the complex calculations needed to interface with the Shapers' network. Energy signatures detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from the bridge. 3 Shapers entering the system. They're moving into harvest formation. Maya's voice came through clear and determined. "All ships, take your positions. Remember, we only get one shot at this." Sarah closed her eyes, letting her mind sink into the patterns she'd been studying. The mathematics of the Shapers was beautiful in its purity, but it was cold, empty of the chaos that made life itself so precious. "They're beginning the harvest sequence. Marcus reported, initiating quantum interface. Now, the crystalline computers pulsed with energy as they connected to the Shaper's network. Through their instruments, they could see the massive machines pause in their work, registering the intrusion. "They're responding," Sarah called out, her fingers dancing over the quantum interface. "Sending our message now." What they were attempting was more than just communication. It was an argument written in the language of universal laws. They showed the Shapers the mathematics of evolution, the beauty of uncertainty, the power of imperfection to create new possibilities. The Shapers' response came in waves of quantum data, their perfect patterns trying to overwhelm the human equations. Sarah felt her mind straining as she processed their counter-arguments, each one a theorem that threatened to reshape her understanding of reality. "Power fluctuations in the quantum drive," Rodriguez reported. "The space-time distortions are increasing." "Hold position," Maya ordered. "Sarah, Marcus, status." Marcus's voice was tense. "They're trying to prove their way is the only logical path. Sending our response now." Through the quantum interface, they transmitted their greatest argument, the mathematics of human creativity, the equations that showed how imperfection and uncertainty led to innovation, to art, to love. They showed them that their perfect universe would be static, dead, incapable of creating anything truly new. The Shapers' response was immediate and overwhelming. Energy beams lanced out from their massive forms, not attacking the ships directly, but rewriting the space around them. "Hull integrity failing," Rodriguez called out. "The local physics are becoming incompatible with our material structure." "Sarah." Maya's voice cut through the chaos. "We're out of time." Sarah opened her eyes, seeing the equations that now filled her vision. "No," she said quietly. "We're exactly where we need to be." She entered the final sequence, not an argument, but a demonstration. The quantum computers pulsed one last time, sending out a wave of energy that carried within it the most human equation of all, the mathematics of choice. They showed the Shapers that their perfect universe was just one possibility among infinite options. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, nothing happened. The Shapers hung in space, their harvest beams frozen in mid-strike. Then, slowly, their energy patterns began to change. "They're processing it," Marcus breathed. "They're actually considering the implications." The Shapers' response came not in mathematics this time, but in action. Their harvest beams retracted, and their massive forms began to reconfigure, changing into something new. "Energy signatures are shifting," Rodriguez reported, wonder in his voice. "They're adapting." Through the quantum interface, Sarah felt rather than saw their decision. The Shapers had encountered something they had never considered in their millions of years of existence, the idea that perfection itself might be imperfect, that the flaw in their grand design was its very flawlessness. "They're sending us something," Marcus called out. It's a new equation, a compromise." Sarah studied the pattern with tears in her eyes. The Shapers hadn't abandoned their mission to improve the universe, but they had accepted a new definition of improvement, one that included the preservation of the chaos and creativity that made life possible. As the Prometheus's crew watched in amazement, the Shapers began to withdraw, their massive forms disappearing into quantum space. But they left behind something unprecedented, a gift of knowledge, showing humanity how to work with the altered regions of space-time they had created, how to navigate between the perfect and imperfect parts of the universe. "They understood," Sarah whispered. "They actually understood." The victory had come at a price. Those who had worked most closely with the Shapers' mathematics would never see the universe quite the same way again. But they had maintained their humanity while teaching these ancient machines a new way of seeing reality. The battle for Earth's sun was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. They had gained not just survival, but a new understanding of their place in a universe that was both perfect and imperfect, ordered and chaotic, shaped and shaping. Legacy of the Stars. 5 years after humanity's encounter with the Shapers, The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the new Quantum Research Institute, watching ships pass through the engineered corridors of spacetime that now connected the surviving star systems. Still seeing the patterns, Marcus Wong asked, joining her at the window. His cybernetic eye had been upgraded to process the new quantum mathematics that governed these spaces, its glow now containing hints of the same energy that had once powered the Shapers. Always, Sarah replied with a slight smile. But they're different now. Less rigid. More alive. She gestured to the view before them, where the darkness between stars was periodically lit by streams of quantum energy, the remnants of the Shapers' network, now repurposed to serve all spacefaring civilizations. The Institute itself was a testament to the new era. Built in collaboration with the Meridians and other surviving species, it stood at the intersection of normal and altered space, a place where the mathematics of perfection and chaos could be studied together. Admiral Harrison, now showing more gray in his hair but standing as straight as ever, emerged from a quantum communication chamber. "The Architects' Council is convening," he announced. "They're ready to begin the restoration project." The council chamber was unlike any room that had existed before the Shapers' transformation. Its walls shifted between states of matter, its very structure a demonstration of the new physics that governed the reformed regions of space. Representatives from a dozen species sat around a table that somehow existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Zar-Eth's crystalline form pulsed with approval as Sarah presented the latest findings. "Your species continues to surprise us," they said, "using the Shaper's own network to restore damaged stars. We never imagined such a possibility." "It's not restoration exactly," Sarah explained, bringing up a holographic display of their test site. "We're creating something new. The stars we're rebuilding aren't quite the same as they were before, but they're stable, able to support life in both traditional and altered space." Captain Maya Patel, now Admiral Patel following her father's retirement, added her perspective. "The reformed Shapers have been instrumental in this work. Their understanding of stellar engineering, combined with human creativity, and the experience of species like the Meridians, has opened up possibilities none of us could have achieved alone." The display showed their greatest achievement yet, a hybrid star system where ships could transition between normal space and the Shapers' quantum regions, where life could evolve in ways that embraced both order and chaos. It was neither the perfect universe the Shapers had envisioned, nor the purely natural one humanity had sought to preserve, but something entirely new. "We've located another cluster of displaced civilizations," Marcus reported, his cybernetic eye projecting additional data. "Species who fled to the spaces between stars when the Shapers came. With the new transitional zones, they can finally return home, or at least to new homes we can create together." Sarah studied the mathematics flowing through the chamber's walls, remembering how alien and threatening these patterns had once seemed. Now she could appreciate both their elegant precision and their capacity for change. The price of understanding hadn't been the loss of humanity she had feared, but rather an expansion of what humanity could become. "There's something you should see," she said, entering a new equation into the quantum field that permeated the chamber. The holographic display shifted, showing a vast network of interconnected stars and altered spaces. "We've been analyzing the original Shapers' plan, and we found something remarkable." The display zoomed out, revealing a pattern that stretched across the entire galaxy. "They were never trying to perfect just our galaxy," she explained. "This was meant to be a seed, a starting point for spreading their version of perfection across the entire universe." "And now?" Zar-Eth asked, their crystalline form shimmering with interest. "Now we have a chance to spread something better," Sarah replied. "Not perfection, but possibility. Not uniformity, but unity in diversity." She gestured to the hybrid star systems they had created. "Each of these is unique, expressing both the mathematical precision of the Shapers and the creative chaos of organic life. And they're stable, self-sustaining, and self-evolving." Admiral Harrison nodded slowly. So instead of rewriting the universe to match a single pattern, we're teaching it to write its own story. Marcus finished. Every restored star system becomes a new chapter, every hybrid space a new possibility. The council chamber hummed with energy as the implications became clear. They had not merely survived the Shaper's attempt to perfect the universe. They had transformed it into something greater than either pure order or pure chaos could have achieved alone. In the years that followed, humanity would join with their new allies to continue this work of transformation. The remaining Shapers, their protocols fundamentally altered by the encounter with human creativity, became partners in this enterprise, their vast knowledge and power turned toward nurturing possibility, rather than enforcing perfection. Sarah often returned to the observatory where she had first detected the Shaper's pattern. The stars looked different to her now, each one a point of light that could exist in multiple states, each one a potential bridge between the natural and the engineered, the random and the ordered. "We never did find out who created the original Shapers," Marcus said one evening as they watched a newly restored star flare into life. "Perhaps that's for the best," Sarah replied. "Some questions should remain mysteries. That's part of what makes the universe beautiful, not its perfection, but its endless capacity to surprise us." Above them, the hybrid star pulsed with both natural fusion fire and quantum energy, a testament to what could be achieved when the drive for perfection was tempered by the appreciation of imperfection. It was neither the end humanity had feared nor the transcendence the Shapers had planned, but something new, a future that embraced both the mathematical precision of the cosmic dance and the wild, wonderful chaos of life itself. In the depths of space, countless other stars awaited their turn to be reborn, not as perfect cosmic engines, but as bridges between what was and what could be. Humanity had not just saved their sun, they had helped create a new way for the very stars themselves to shine.